Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवतः भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna everyone. We are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 Creation. Today's chapter is number 9, the passing away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Lord Krishna. Text number 1. सुत उवाच इति भीतः प्रजाद्रोहात् सर्वधर्मविवित्सया ततो विनशनं प्रागाद् यन्त्र देववृतो अपतत्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Suta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthir went to the scene of the massacre. There, Bhishma Dev was lying on a bed of arrows, about to pass away. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Once again, Hare Krishna to all of you, and thank you for joining. So, from this chapter, we will learn two things. One is the power of devotion, how powerful Bhakti Yoga is. And the second is how we can attain the highest perfection of life through Bhakti Yoga, through devotion. Now, this chapter we will also come across very powerful and an emotional moment. And it is all centered around the departure of Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is the grandfather of the Pandavas, and he played a very important role in their lives. And he's considered one of the greatest warriors, and not only just warriors, but also greatest devotee of Krishna. Especially in his life is highlighted in the Mahabharata war. Now, after the Kurukshetra war, as we read this today's verse, Yudhishthir became the king because the Pandavas won the war, everyone else was dead. King Yudhishthir, even though he became the king, he was overwhelmed with grief. And Prabhupada says he was also morally confused. Why? Because he felt responsible for the death of millions of people in that war. So he wanted to seek guidance. So now that he's become the king, he wanted to know how to lead the subjects on the path of dharma. What is the righteous duty? So that's why Yudhishthir Maharaj, he went to the battlefield. And what did he see at the battlefield? He saw his grandfather Bhishma. He's lying on a bed of arrows. Those arrows were shot by Arjuna onto Bhishma. And so Krishna, along with the Pandavas, with Yudhishthira Maharaj, with in this chapter it's mentioned Parvata Muni, Narad Muni, Dhamya Muni, Vyasadev, Parashuram, Bharadwaj, Vashishta, and many more sages, including Shukadev Goswami. They all went there where Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows. Even Shukadev Goswami went. Who is Shukadev Goswami? We've learned, the one who is the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, he's a son of Vyasadev. And he learned about the whole Mahabharata war from his father. And it is said that he recited 1.4 million verses of Mahabharata. Of course, he also recited Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So from this we see that he got all the spiritual knowledge from his father, Vyasadeva. So all of them who were gathered there in front of Bhishma, they saw he's lying on a bed of arrows. Imagine if someone pinches us, it really hurts a lot. And if one arrow hits our body, it's very painful. There's bleeding, etc. So imagine so many arrows were piercing through the body of Bhishma Dev. But even though he was lying there on bed of arrows, it is mentioned it looked like he was a demigod who had fallen from the sky. And when Pandavas saw their grandfather, they bowed down, offered their obeisances. So in this chapter, we'll see how Bhishma Dev, on the request of Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is going to instruct him. And of course, towards the end of the chapter, we'll see Bhishma Dev praying to Lord Krishna for the last time, just before leaving his body. But Krishna, he wanted the Pandavas to hear from Bhishma Dev. He wanted to show all of us how great of a devotee is Bhishma Dev. He also wanted to show us that when Krishna's devotees are even in great pain, even in very uncomfortable situation, they do not forget to give the spiritual knowledge to others. This is what we learn from the life of Bhishma Dev, especially at the very last moment when he is about to leave his body. So Krishna wanted Pandavas to hear from Bhishma. Now, who's Bhishma? He's he's the best of 8 Vasus. If I go in detail, if you all want to hear in detail about it, the class will go a little longer. So I don't know if you all would want to be here more than 30, 40 minutes or 50 minutes, but there's a very nice story behind these 8 Vasus. These 8 Vasus were in the heavenly planets. And one time, Shantanu, who is the father of Bhishma Dev, he met the holy river Ganga, very, very beautiful, divine lady, and he got captivated by her beauty. So he wanted to marry her. But Ganga Devi, she said, I can marry you only on one condition, that you will never question me on whatever I do, and you will never oppose my actions, no matter what it is. And he agreed because he was so captivated by her beauty. So then they got married. And these 8 Vasus who were in the heavenly planets, who were actually cursed, they took birth as children of Ganga and Shantanu. So as soon as the first Vasu was born, first child was born, Ganga took the child at birth and drowned the child in the river. She did that with all 7 of her sons that were born. So out of those 8, the 7 Vasus, they got delivered. They died at birth. As soon as they were born, they were drowned, and then they went back to their original home. But the 8th child, as she was about to drown, this 8th child, his name was Devavrat, who is actually Bhishma Dev. He got the name Bhishma afterwards. So this Devavrat, after birth, she wanted to drown him too, but Shantanu stopped her. He broke his promise. He questioned her and he opposed her decision. So then she said, I got to leave you because you didn't keep your promise. So she took Devavrita with her and she went away and she trained him, gave him the best education in the forest under the guidance of sage Vashishta Muni. So Bhishma Dev, actually Devavrit, he mastered various arts, scriptures, warfare, everything. And when he was 32 years old, Ganga brought him back to Shantanu and gave him back his son. So now Shantanu, he was anointed as the crown prince of Hastinapur. He was the only child of Shantanu, so obviously he would be the next king. But then there was a new challenge, and that was Shantanu fell in love with a daughter of a fisherman, Satyavati. Now, if you remember, Satyavati is the mother of Vyasadeva, right? So when he got attracted to her and wanted to marry her, her father put a condition. He said that only her children will become the king. You cannot, your son Devavrita cannot become the king. So Devavrita, when he heard about this, he said, I promise my sons will not become the king, only Satyavati. So the father said, no, 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 you never know. One of your children may want to because you're the eldest son. So that is the time when Devavrata took a very, very solemn pledge. And that is called a pratigya. And that was that he would never marry. So if he would not marry, there would be no children, so there'll be no problem for Satyavati and her father. So that very, very solemn pledge now is called. So that is how he got the name Bhishma. Bhishma means someone who takes a very terrible vow, which is so difficult to follow, and that's how he got the name Bhishma. Bhishma means a very, very terrible vow. So Shantanu, he was very shocked also to hear his son Devavrata take this vow. So he gave him the name, and he also gave him a benediction. He said, I give you the boon that you will be able to leave this body when you want, at your will. So that was the benediction. So Bhishma Dev has this boon that he can die whenever he wants to. Imagine if we got that boon. We would never use that boon, like because we would never want to die. But here, Bhishma Dev being a very pure devotee of the Lord and also considered one of the 12 Mahajanas, you see. So he knew what was the right time to leave his body, and he was waiting for that right moment. And the question may arise, who are these 8 vasus? These 8 vasus, they were celestial beings, and what they did one time, they stole a cow of Vashishta Muni. Her name was Nandini, who was the daughter of a wish fulfilling cow called Surabhi. So when that was done, the eldest of the Vasu, whose name was Diu, he was the one who stole. So Vashishta Muni was really upset, and he got angry, and he cursed these 8 Vasus to be born in the material world. So this is how these, but because Diu was the one who actually stole the cow, Nandini. He was given the curse that he would suffer. The other 7 would get released immediately, but he would suffer for a very long time in the material world. And that is why this Diu is none other than Bhishma Dev, or Devavrata, before he got the name Bhishma Dev. So here we see Krishna wanted these Pandavas and everyone else, including us, to hear the instructions of Bhishma Dev. And then when Bhishma Dev saw all these great personalities, he welcomed them. You see, Krishna, he saw that Krishna is in my heart and Krishna is also sitting in front of me. So he understood how very great Krishna is. He's present everywhere. He's the Supreme Lord. So he worshipped Krishna even though lying in that painful condition on the bed of arrows. And Pandavas, they were just sitting quietly next to their grandfather. And then Pandavas, of course, it is very natural. They overcame with, they were overtaken by affection for their grandfather because their grandfather had taken care of them since childhood. When the Pandavas were born, their father had actually died even before. So they were only at the mercy of their mother, Kunti. But Bhishma Dev, being their grandfather, took care of them since childhood. And now Bhishma Dev is saying, I can now remember all the tribulations that all of you went through. And he said, I'm very satisfied that Yudhishthir, you have become the king. And he congratulated them on their victory in the Mahabharata war. And, he was so happy to see the Pandavas win the battle that there were tears of ecstasy coming down his, cheeks, and he was overwhelmed with love and affection. And he addressed them. He told the Pandavas, you are all good souls. You all have suffered so much injustice. You have all gone through so many tribulations, but you were always protected by the Supreme Lord Krishna. Now, Bhishma Dev, being a pure devotee and a Mahajana, he could understand why is Yudhishthir Maharaj so sad. So he wanted to encourage him and try to dissipate his despondency. How to help him come out of this situation in his life, not just the situation, but the way Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling morose. So he wanted to remove that moroseness. And he told the Pandavas, look at your mother. She became a widow at a young age and she suffered so much, and she's still suffering even now. This means that she was destined to suffer by providence. This is what we've learned in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Chapter 3 and 5. Karma. Every action has a reaction. So one must learn to tolerate without being disturbed. We learn this again in Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastu kantaya shitoshana sukha dukha daha. Their happiness and distress, they'll come and go like summer and winter season. But one must learn to tolerate. So if we are suffering at the present moment, we must understand it is due to our past actions. It is not due to because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, this person, that person. No, it is our own past actions that are giving us these reactions in the form of sufferings. So Bhishma Dev told Yudhishthira Maharaj, don't be sorry. Everyone has to bear the reactions of their karma. And this is the nature of the material world. So all those soldiers who died in the Mahabharat war, they were destined to die. It was their karma, right? Just like you all suffered because of influence of time. Time is called Kala and Krishna is time. He tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, time I am. So Krishna arranged this Mahabharat war. He wanted to remove all the irreligious people from the earth, and that is why this war took place, and all the irreligious people are now dead. So he is explaining to Yudhishthira that the pure devotees, they accept tribulations as the favor of the Supreme Lord. There must be something good in what I am going through. You see, he said no one can know the plan of Krishna, right? Even great philosophers are bewildered. So Yudhishthira, you should not lament because it's not possible to understand Krishna's plan. But here is the very important point. He said, Pandavas, you did not suffer because of your past actions. Krishna just used you as an instrument to establish a kingdom of virtue. He wanted to establish religion. And that is why he allowed his devotees to suffer temporarily. Even to show even great warrior like Bhishma, he could not win. Why? Because he chose to be on the opposite side. He chose to be on the side of the irreligious people. So even he is about to die. Even he could not be spared, even though he's a pure devotee of the Lord. So no matter how powerful one may be, if one is on the side of irreligion, then one cannot be saved. So this is what Bhishma Dev is trying to point out to Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas, that look, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He plans everything and everything happens according to his plan. You see, yet even though Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is amongst all of us. We human beings, he's amongst us. You see? So, even all these great sages, even Vyasadeva is here, who is an incarnation of Krishna. Even he does not know the glories of Krishna. He doesn't know everything at all. You see? So, Krishna is is hearing, he's smiling, and he's hearing the way Yudhishthira Maharaj is being consoled by Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj, you thought Krishna is your cousin, he's your dear friend, he's your well-wisher, he's your messenger, but my dear child, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was acting like your cousin out of his own causeless mercy. He performed all those services for all of you just out of love for you. You see? But remember, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the one who's present in everyone's heart. He's equal to all, and he's free from any form of ego. And look at his magnanimity. He has come down. He has graciously come down. And now he's graciously come in front of me while I'm about to end my life. You see? And he's trying to tell Yudhishthir, look, he is the Supreme Lord and I'm just an eternal servant of Krishna. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishnara Nitya Das. One more important point, he tells Yudhishthira that I have unflinching faith in Krishna, and that is our natural position. The root cause of all our suffering is because we have forgotten Krishna, we've forgotten our position, who we are, and we are just identifying with this body. And because of false ego, we think we are independent. So Krishna, he only to his devotees. He enters, he appears in their mind. Only of a devotee who has unflinching faith in Krishna and also has attentive devotion, not a devotion like a ritual. Oh, I got to chant. Oh, I have to read. Oh, I have to. No. Attentive devotion, which means there is focus on devotion. You see, those devotees who are focusing on mantra meditation, chanting the holy name of the Lord. You see, to that devotee, Krishna releases that devotee from the bondage of birth and death, the whole cycle. He even releases them from fruitive activities. So, one who concentrates the mind on Krishna, with attention, Srila Prabhupada calls that one a yogi. Why? Because he is engaging his mind in chanting and thinking of Krishna. This is how we get connected to the Supreme Lord, by mantra meditation. So, if a devotee is chanting throughout the life, then at the time of death, the devotee will remember Krishna. We learned this in Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajat anti kalevram. Krishna says, whatever we think at time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. So this is the power of bhakti. This is the power of devotion. Just by focusing on bhakti yoga, we can perfect our lives and remember Krishna at the time of death. So Bhishma, he had a desire to see the smiling face of not just Krishna, of Lord Narayana before leaving his body. You see? He knew Lord Narayana is an expansion of Krishna. You see, indirectly, he had that desire to see the Lord Narayan form. He didn't tell Krishna, hey, come on, show me your Narayan form. No, devotees are very humble in their behavior. He did not demand to see that form. You see? Prabhupada says Bhishma Dev was destined to go back to the spiritual world. So it didn't matter whether he saw the form of Krishna or Lord Narayana. Still, he desired to see that beautiful face of the Supreme Lord because he wanted to concentrate his mind on that smiling face just before leaving his body. And now, seeing the condition of Bhishma Dev, Yudhishthira Maharaj understood that Bhishma is going to leave his body at any moment. So he wanted to ask questions. He didn't want to miss that opportunity. Excuse me, you see, when we get an opportunity to associate with a pure devotee, a senior devotee, an advanced devotee, a spiritual master, a sannyasi, a guru, then we must inquire. You see? Because if we do not inquire, we lose that opportunity. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he quickly wanted to ask questions because he didn't want Bhishma Dev to be in that painful situation lying on the bed of arrows for a long time. You see, because those arrows were piercing his body. And here Krishna wanted to show, look at my devotee, my pure devotee. It doesn't matter what the situation is, what the physical pain is, it doesn't matter. My pure devotee is always sound in body and mind. You see? They can give spiritual knowledge in any circumstance. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he approached Bhishma Dev. You know, there Krishna was there, great sages were there, and he humbly started asking questions to Bhishma Dev. On what? On duty of a king, on also getting some spiritual wisdom from Bhishma Dev. And what did Bhishma Dev do? He spoke extensively on the duty of a king, Raja Dharma, about moral conduct, about social responsibilities, about devotion to Supreme Lord, Bhakti Yoga, how to rule the citizens, how to become a Raja Rishi, not just a Raja, a king, but a Rishi, a sage, which means lead the citizens of your kingdom on the spiritual path as well. Don't just take care of their bodily needs, but also their spiritual needs. So Bhishma Dev's teachings, they combined, practical governance with deep spiritual insight. So he just didn't teach him duties of the king, but he also gave him spiritual knowledge. He defined the Varnashrama system. In the Bhagavad Gita, we learned about this Chaturvarnyam Mayashishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasaha. That how these Varnas and Ashramas, they are divided according to qualifications, actions. Not that I am born in a Brahmana family, so I automatically become a Brahmana. No. The four Varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And the four ashramas are Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. These are all necessary for self-realization. And we've already learned this in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. So now, Bhishma Dev, he gave 9 qualifications for all human beings. And if we have these qualifications in our lives, that means we are a human being. Otherwise, we cannot consider ourselves as a human being, because human being is a life of responsibility. We have philosophical intelligence, which the animals do not have. So we need to use that philosophical intelligence. So what are those 9 qualifications? No anger, no telling lies, equally distribute wealth, forgive. So very difficult. We need to learn to forgive. Have children only by your own wife and not outside marriage. Should be pure in mind. Have clean body, which means keep the body clean. And not be inimical, be very simple, and also support the subordinates or someone who is below you. So these are the qualifications. If we don't have, we need to try and build them so that we can be called a human being. Then he talked about the different acts of charity, the different activities of a king, of women, activities for salvation, duty of devotees. You see, talking about charity, if you remember, in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we learned in detail about charity in different modes of material nature. So Bhishma Dev, he is guiding Yudhishthira Maharaj to lead his citizens on the path of self-realization. Be responsible, guide them on the spiritual path. Now that is possible only when he himself is on the spiritual path. You see? We cannot tell someone to do something that we are not doing, just like every class I insist on doing mantra meditation, chanting the holy names. If I am not chanting, I do not have the right to ask others to chant. So here he's guiding Yudhishthira Maharaj to be responsible, be on the spiritual path, which they already were, and then guide your subjects. Become free from anger, learn to forgive, conquer sleep with the help of Bhakti Yoga. You see, Bhishma Dev, he made a very important point. He talked about the activities of a king and women. Now, women, Prabhupada says, are more powerful than men. Sorry, men who are listening. These are the words of the scriptures. Why? Because they are a source of inspiration for men. You see, they please the Supreme Lord very easily by performing Bhakti Yoga. They like to chant, hear, worship, serve. See, we would have all noticed that whenever there's a spiritual gathering, there are more women than men, because women, they are very soft in nature and they very easily take up Bhakti Yoga. And then, before departing, before leaving the body, Bhishma Dev started glorifying Krishna. You see, he offered heartfelt prayers to Krishna, recognizing him that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He meditated on Krishna's form, recalling what happened in the war, in the Mahabharata war, how Krishna fulfilled his desire by taking up a weapon which he had promised not to do, just to fulfill the wish of Bhishma Dev. You see? So he's praying to Krishna before quitting his body. You see, this material body is a great gift to us from Krishna. So if we identify with the body, then we are in the biggest illusion. We need to use this body to perform Bhakti Yoga, to understand that I have forgotten the Supreme Lord, and now in this human form of life, now that I have this intelligence, I should learn to remember Krishna. You see, the soul is very pure, but the senses of this body, they are the ones that get contaminated. So he's praying to Krishna. Let me invest myself now in thinking, feeling, and willing about Krishna. Very, very important. Thinking, feeling, will. How do we do that? Very simple. If we chant the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, very attentively, hearing the sound vibrations, then automatically we'll think, feel, and will Krishna. And we need to do this every day. See? So Bhishma Dev, finally, he is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj that you're very fortunate, Krishna is with you, and he's telling Krishna, you are an intimate friend of Arjuna. You have appeared in your transcendental body, blue in color, and now let your form be my object of attraction. And then he started describing the beautiful form of Krishna. He remembered the time when Krishna fulfilled his desire, that incident during the war. You know, Duryodhana during the war had come to Bhishma Dev in between, the war. He said, what are you doing? You're such a great warrior and you're purposely not killing the Pandavas. So Bhishma Dev felt very insulted. So he took a vow that tomorrow I'm going to kill all the 5 brothers, the 5 Pandavas. And so he prepared special weapons and he gave them to Duryodhana. He said, you keep them safely. I'll take them from you tomorrow. And these 5 arrows will kill the 5 Pandavas. Now Krishna understood this. that there are these special weapons. So he sent Arjuna to Duryodhana, and by trick, he managed to get those 5 arrows so that the Pandavas do not die the next day. Now, Bhishma Dev, he understood this trick and he took a vow that I will make Krishna break his vow tomorrow by making him pick up a weapon. And that is what Krishna did to fulfill the vow of promise of Bhishma Dev. He took up the wheel of the chariot and he rushed towards Bhishma Dev to throw that wheel at him, because Bhishma Dev had shot many arrows, causing a lot of wounds to Arjuna. So Krishna, he did not take up the weapon for himself. No, he sacrificed his own promise to fulfill the promise of the vow of Bhishma Dev. You see? So Bhishma Dev is remembering that incident where Krishna had picked up, and Bhishma Dev wanted to see that form of Krishna rushing with all beads of sweat, coming down the transcendental body and Krishna's face. And that is what Bhishma Dev is remembering now. You see? He wanted to see Krishna in that mood. And that is how Krishna fulfills the desires of his pure devotees. So now he's repenting his actions towards Krishna. Why did I do that? He is the Supreme Lord. But he appreciated Krishna's mercy towards Arjuna. So now he wanted to fix his mind on Krishna. He appreciated Krishna speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And now he wants to focus on the lotus feet of Krishna. So he prayed to Krishna so that Krishna is his ultimate destination. He thought of Krishna as the Parthasarthi, as the chariot driver of Arjuna and Kurukshetra. And all who saw Krishna on the battlefield, he said, they all attain spiritual forms. So whoever sees Krishna at death achieves a spiritual form and goes back to the spiritual world. So Bhishma Dev, he is remembering these pastimes of Krishna, and now he wants to meditate in full concentration on Krishna who lives in everyone's heart. So while he was speaking, Bhishma Dev noticed the sun's course running into northern hemisphere. And this is the period which is desired by mystics who want to die at will. Those who want to choose a time of death, this is an auspicious time to leave the body. So when he saw the sun's course running into northern hemisphere, he was waiting for that golden time, and he prepared himself to quit his body right in front of Krishna. And at that time, Bhishma Dev, he stopped speaking. He withdrew his mind and fixed it on Krishna. With eyes wide open, Bhishma Dev looking at Krishna, he peacefully left his body at an auspicious moment. My hair is standing on end just thinking and talking about it. Imagine. He saw Krishna in the form of Lord Narayana at the time of death. And that is perfection of life. To think of Krishna, to see Krishna while leaving the body. This should be our goal in life. And this requires a lifetime of preparation, starting with hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So towards the end of the chapter, Sutta Goswami is saying that Bhishma Dev, he merged himself in the super soul, that is Krishna, with mind, speech, sight, actions, and then he became silent and he stopped breathing. This means he merged himself into thinking of Krishna, not like into Brahma Jyoti, no. His mind into remembering Krishna's different activities. He chanted the glories of the Supreme Lord and he saw Krishna personally right in front of him. This is the highest stage of perfection. You see? One may not be able to see Krishna at the time of death, but by hearing and chanting about him, one will attain the same stage as Bhishma Dev. This is what human form of life is meant for, to die like Bhishma Dev. Of course, not necessarily on bed of arrows, that would be very painful for us, but to die thinking about Krishna. See? So, seeing Bhishma Dev leave his body, everyone became silent. Bhishma Dev, the pure devotee of Krishna, entered Vaikuntha. Demigods started showering flowers from above. And why? Because he was respected even amongst demigods. He was a Mahajana. He still is a Mahajana, a great personality, on the same level as Brahma and Shiva, right? So these are the 12 Mahajanas, and one of them is Bhishma Dev. So after the funeral was over, Yudhishthira Maharaj was overtaken with grief. The great sages, they glorified Krishna with Vedic hymns, and they all returned bearing Krishna in their hearts. Yudhishthira Maharaj then went to Hastinapur with Lord Krishna to console his uncle Dhritarashtra and his wife Gandhari. You see, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he executed his royal power in the kingdom very strictly. He was not just a mere tax collector. No, he was conscious of his duty as a king. He learned, he got guidance from Bhishma Dev. He was interested in the welfare of his citizens. You see? So, from this chapter, we see Bhishma Dev's death is portrayed as a perfect example of devotion and also spirituality. That's the power of devotion. Even a great warrior like Bhishma, he attained perfection only through devotion. You see? An ideal death, conscious departure while meditating on Krishna. So he taught us that it's very important to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. Now, he had that benediction to die at will, but we do not. We do not know when we have to leave this body. So we need to plan our life in such a way that we can constantly remember Krishna. You see? So that is the power of devotion, attaining perfection through devotion. So I am going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments,